I'm so excited because finally I get to drive a new Evo. The thing is, it's not from Mitsubishi. So this here is the Evoltis, a new 7-seater crossover SUV from Subaru. Actually, we've been asking Motor Image when they were going to offer this vehicle here in our market because number one, it's a 7-seater crossover SUV, and number two, well, refer to number one, we are a market that is very receptive to 7-seaters, so this would make a good fit for the local lineup. But here's the problem. This is actually not Japanese. This is made way over there in the United States in Indiana. Over there, you guys know this as the Subaru Ascent, but they renamed it as the Evoltis for our market and some other export markets. Now, this isn't the first time that Subaru actually offered an American-made model in the Philippine market. 15 years ago, when Motor Image first came here, they did bring with them the Subaru Tribeca. Yes, that was also made in Indiana. Actually, this one succeeds that model. But from what I remember of that Tribeca, that Zenki early pre-facelift model, well, it was not meant to win beauty contests. It just didn't look that right to me, especially when Fuji Heavy Industries back then tried to translate the look of the Impreza WRX Hawkeye with its aviation-inspired front end to something as big as a Tribeca. It just didn't work for me in the same way that Porsche translated the 996's front end with those fried egg headlights to the first generation Cayenne. So this one, definitely it's a lot more cohesive in its look. Subaru used the Visive 7 concept and then kind of toned down all of the details, all of the sharp details to make it more like a real family SUV you would have in your garage. Now, the front of the Evoltis actually really looks good and very premium with this chrome and black grille. I like these headlamps, especially with the C-shaped LED DRLs and these projector LEDs. These are actually steering responsive, meaning as you turn, the light turns with you. Now, Subaru is highlighting the SUV-ness of this vehicle, which is why you have a lot of black cladding all around it, all on the lower edges of it. And also, when it comes to ground clearance, this one has 8.7 inches or about 221 millimeters, plenty for a crossover of this size. Now, from the side, the Evoltis seems more like a supersized wagon, like an Outback, rather than an upsized Forester, which is more SUV-like. Now, you can tell that by the rake of the windscreen, the way it's shaped, the way the proportions are, it's more, wagon-ish to me. Now, it is a very big vehicle. It's 5 meters long. Actually, it's 4.999 meters long. It's 1.93 meters wide and 1.819 meters tall. It's actually, a pretty tall vehicle when you walk up to it for the first time. So here's the back of the Subaru Evoltis. It's got the black cladding there, the 4 eyes for the rear parking sensor system, dual tailpipes, the garnish here, the wiper here. Overall, not really much to talk about here. It's a bit chopped off compared to a lot of SUVs I've seen before. So Subaru didn't even try to extend the rear bumper anymore. It's actually almost just 1 inch or 2 inches out from the tailgate. Now, speaking of the tailgate, there are 2 ways to open it. One is via the button right here. And then this is also a motorized tailgate, and it has a memory function which you can set from the front. The other way to open it is via the key. And speaking of the key, I kind of wish they updated this because it already feels a bit dated compared to a lot of the competitor models we have now. With a third row up, it's got 504 liters of cargo space right here. When you fold it down, you do it via these straps. There, one there, and another one here. It's actually a 60-40 split. Nevertheless, when you do that, you've got 1,345 liters of cargo space here. You can fit something that's about 4 feet long in this configuration. Also, when you have this third row folded down, you've got a tonneau cover tucked in right under there. You can put that up on the side so all your stuff here in the back is away from prying eyes. When you fold down the middle row, which also kind of folds flat in this version, well, you've got 2,449 liters of cargo space. You can also fit in items that are about 7 feet long, but your sides here, where the third row is only 45 inches wide. Now, if you know your construction materials, you'll know that that means the Evoltis can't take on a full 4x8 sheet of plywood. For that, you can actually use the roof rails, with caution of course. You can tie it down onto those rails because those are fully functional, they're not for design. So also you can mount all kinds of accessories there, like crossbars or a bike rack, or buy a roof carrier or a roof basket of your choice. Just be careful that nothing pokes through because, well, you don't want to be scratching up the panoramic glass roof on this Evoltis. So here's the front of the Evoltis. It actually looks really nice, really premium. It looks very, very well put together. Looking at the gaps, they're very, very consistent. I like the stitching here. I like the materials they used. They have some wood panel style thing here, but it looks very, very classy, kind of like the trim they would use in, say, an Etihad airliner. That's what it reminds me of. The steering wheel looks really nice. It has really big buttons, really hard to miss. The gauges are really clear and very, very Subaru, with the color display right there in the middle. The stitches here are nice. The full auto power windows are only the front ones. The rear ones, you have to keep holding them on. So only the front ones are one touch. It's got a power mirror fold, power mirror adjustment. Nice door handles, memory for the seat position. So the center stack of the Evoltis, wow, it's really nice. There's nothing I can say bad about the way this is laid out. It's very logical. So you got your view here. Of course, you got your multi-info display there. It shows you different kinds of views for your Evoltis. So you got your time. If you've been in any other Subaru, this will look very familiar. It just looks a lot better in this one. You've got a nice 2-din screen here. The quality of the video is really, really fantastic, and the audio is actually really nice too because those are Harman Kardon speakers. There's even a subwoofer in the very back. You have radio, you have your USB, Bluetooth, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also a navigation function here, but for this one, it doesn't seem to be active, so that's something you have to talk to Subaru about. So down here, you have your dual zone climate control for the front. You have the third zone right here in the back. The buttons are really nice. It looks really, really upscale. You have seat ventilation and seat heating. Again, we only use the seat heating for the prank on this side. You have your X mode button there for off-roading, that kind of thing. Auto vehicle hold. Then you have the aux port, 2 USB ports for charging, 2.1 amps. Shifter here, parking brake, electronic parking brake. Right here, 2 more cup holders. Oh, and if you're wondering where you can put your phone, you can put it right here in the 2 cup holders. There's a tray here, but it does not have wireless charging. Strange. There's a tray here that it can go on, and also another one here, which is actually perfect for my phone. So, that's pretty neat. The center armrest is also very, very nice. It seems to be leather, and then there's also a recess here that allows you to control the parking brake or the shifter, so that's a nice touch. The center console box, it's also really nice. It seems to be felt lined, but surprisingly, there are no charging ports there or even 12-volt ports, which is odd. So when I actually look at the thing all around here, there are no 12-volt charging ports anymore, so you don't need any chargers unless there's one here. Nope, no 12-volt charging port there. Huh. Weird. So up here on top, you have your sunroof controls, your lane departure warning off button, your forward collision braking warning off button there, light controls there. Another indicator that this is very American. When you open this, well, you've got a very, very convex mirror that you can use to yell at the kids in the background, "Hoy, stop messing with your brother." Right? When you push it again, it opens up to give you a space to put your sunglasses on. And another neat thing about the Evoltis, apart from the presence of this EyeSight dual camera system, is the rear view mirror. It's actually a screen as well. So when you put it in night mode, it goes for the screen mode. So it shows the display from the camera in the very back. So it also avoids, let's say if somebody's sitting in the back, in the very back, which means when you look in the rear view mirror, all you see are faces, right? So once you pop this, it switches to the camera mode, so you can see exactly what's behind you. That's pretty neat as well. There are some buttons here, but you see, you have to program them, and I haven't really gotten around to looking at the manual. We don't have enough time with this vehicle to be able to do that. Now, as you can see here in the back, well, they have got two captain seats to choose from. This one does not have the ottoman, but it's plenty comfortable given that how they're gonna market this vehicle. It's more executive style, so yeah, the armrest, you've got your own cup holders, you've got sunshades here for both sides. You've got your own climate control system, which controls the ones for the third row as well. Two USB ports, two more cup holders here. This one has 19 overall. And then another, well, power outlet. This one is for an AC power outlet. And another indicator that this is an American-made model is that the fact that it's 120 volts, it's not 220. So the equivalent model of this version in the United States would be the Ascent Touring. So the third row of the Evoltis, it's actually not too bad. I was not expecting that because normally this row is not where I would sit, and it's because it's not really that spacious, not that comfortable. But here it's okay once you move the middle row to give you a bit more leg room here and still retain a lot here in the middle. Getting in and out isn't too bad. You can go out through here and out to the side. You can also pull this lever here and go up that way. But there is an issue though. I want to point out that the wheelbase of this is not that long. It's 2.9 something or 2.8 something. I didn't check the actual number. But you can tell because the wheel well is protruding a bit more to how you would actually alight from this row. So keep that in mind that even when this moves, this will be protruding. But once you're here, it's actually okay. Got 3 cup holders here, 2 more here, which is 2 more than actually what the number of people who would sit in this row. Got 2 USB ports. That's pretty neat. And also, one thing I want to point out is that it's not too wide here. So you may not want to put full-size adults here in the very back, like me. So here's the engine bay of the Evoltis. As you can see, it's very, very mechanical because Subaru did not try to cover it up with the big pieces of plastic. They kept it pretty much bare. I mean, they did put in some sound insulation, sound deadening padding on the bonnet, on the hood, on the firewall, here on the sides. So, but other than that, you can see pretty much all of the engine. And this is a flat 4, 2.4 liter turbo direct injection engine from Subaru. So as you know, flat 4 engines, they stick down low to the ground, give you a low center of gravity because that's kind of what Subaru likes to do. They like to have it symmetrical, hence symmetrical all-wheel drive. That's what this is. So when you look at it from there, it looks very even left to right. So being that there's no cowling of any kind or covering, you can see the attention to detail with the piping, and the hoses. So the AC, the power steering, the ABS lines, the brake lines, even the hose for the reservoir tank of the radiator. They have 90-degree bends. That's actually pretty neat. So when you do pop the hood of the Evoltis, you'll see this massive piece here. Now that is not there for show, definitely. That is actually an air intake cowling tube thing for the top mount intercooler, the TMIC. Now, Subaru, they do their intercoolers usually up on top compared to, let's say, other car manufacturers. They like to do theirs up in front. So Subaru does this like that, which is why in performance models from Subaru like the WRX, the STI, those models, they have a hood scoop up on top. That is to give cooling air to the intercooler. So this one, it sucks in air through the front and then also along with the air intake, which is right here. So it's the air intake for the engine itself gets in air through here. So if we measure this, this is about 800 millimeters up from the ground. So you do not want to cross that threshold. You want to, if you're going to cross a flood, if you have to, I wouldn't even try going up anywhere near that. Probably stay around right here, maybe even a little bit lower. But anyways, enough talk. Let's go out and drive it. In terms of efficiency, the Evoltis actually surprised us. In city driving, we were doing 8.3 kilometers per liter, average speed of 24, 23. And then on the highway, average speed of 80, we're doing 17.5 kilometers per liter. These are really good figures for a vehicle of this size, this kind of weight, and this kind of drivetrain. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle. So I think the secret was how Subaru tuned the 2.4 liter engine. It's being a turbo. They found a way to give you more torque down low as compared to if it was naturally aspirated. So it helps. That means you don't have to rev as much. And then being a CVT, it also helps because again, a CVT would adjust the gear ratio to be able to give you better efficiency overall. So yeah, Subaru seems to have found a good mix with the new Evoltis. So now we're going to do one of our quick 0 to 100 runs. Let's see what the Evoltis Ascent can do. Reload, launch. CVT right there. So after that acceleration test, the Evoltis did it in 9.83 seconds, which is pretty good, all things considered. This is a big vehicle, so, and it's not really meant for full-on acceleration like that. So just to give you an idea, yeah, in terms of 0 to 100, 9.83, pretty good. Now, as a drive, the Evoltis is actually pretty good. I mean, a lot of the people abroad think it's not that exciting, and it is. I mean, it is big and heavy, so that is to be expected. But overall, I mean, it does compensate for it quite well. It doesn't, like here, cornering now, it's not, that's the bag in the back. It's actually very, very sure-footed. That's something you don't expect. Again, this is a vehicle that's about the same size as a Ford Explorer, and it feels a lot better than how that vehicle felt, I mean, throughout the generations. For an Americanized Subaru, the handling is really good. Now, we can't really expect sports car levels of handling and performance out of it. We have to get that out right away. This is not a rally car, but it does have some good handling and dynamics dialed into it right away. I mean, you turn a corner, it doesn't feel like it's trying to get away from you or it's trying to lean too much. This can actually be really fun once you take the kids to school and the wife to the mall. And now when you're just cruising, it actually quiets down really, really nicely. Actually, there's not much noise, which I kind of miss because a Subaru engine is, again, the flat 4, it does sound very, very distinct, almost burly at times when you drive it. So this one, well, they've really muted that down. So that one I kind of miss, but again, it's a family vehicle, not a performance car. Now, my overall impression with the Evoltis is this. It's quite conservative, but I actually like it. Now, yes, they were very conservative with the look, with the interior, and with the way it drives, but I do have to keep in mind that this is not a performance vehicle. This is not like the Subarus of old, which were brash, rally-type wannabe cars that you would take out on the dirt, like right here on the side. No, this is not one of those vehicles. This is a straight out-and-out family vehicle, and then can double as an executive transport, especially with those captain seats right there in the middle. Now, this does come at quite a premium, and that's because it has to travel here from the United States, and even if it did come from Japan, the size of the engine will not qualify it for JPEPA. Now, is that worth it to you? Well, you should really try one out to figure out if it's good for you and your lifestyle and what you intend to use it for. But as it stands, it gives Subaru a nice new option to break into a new market that they haven't been in a while. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter.